Dating apps are supposed to make life easier. A swipe, a match, a conversation. That's how most love stories start today. But my friend, a therapist in Buenos Aires, once told me a case that he couldn't keep to himself. He changed all the names, blurred every personal detail. But he said something that has stayed with me ever since. If this could happen to him, it could happen to any man. Because sometimes the most dangerous monsters don't hide in forests or abandoned houses. Sometimes they hide behind a perfect smile on Tinder. The man in this story, we'll call him Luciano, was at his lowest point. Heartbroken, unemployed, barely sleeping. Vulnerable in every way a person can be vulnerable. And like many people do when life starts falling apart, he downloaded Tinder, hoping for at least a distraction or a bit of human connection. For days, nothing happened. Just silence, swipes, and more silence. Until one night, his screen lit up with something unexpected. A match with a woman so beautiful, so composed, so out of his league, that he thought the app had glitched. Her profile said her name was Camila, also fictional, a filmmaker, owner of a small audiovisual studio, artistic photos, a charming smile, and a charisma that leaked even through text. Luciano messaged her with zero expectations, and she replied immediately. That first conversation lasted hours, and for the first time in months, he felt something warm inside him. Hope. A beautiful woman, intelligent, talented, slightly mysterious. Someone who seemed to choose him when he felt unworthy of being chosen at all. They decided to meet in a plaza in Buenos Aires, a quiet spot surrounded by trees and old architecture. Camila brought mate, the traditional Argentine drink, a hollow gourd shared among friends, symbolizing trust and closeness. For Luciano, this gesture meant everything. She wasn't just a Tinder match. She was someone letting him into her world. She had an angelic face, a soft voice, and the kind of confidence that makes you want to be a better version of yourself. But beneath that sweetness, something strange flickered. When a stray cat passed by, she whispered, "Imagine a bus running it over right now." She laughed it off, and Luciano, desperate not to ruin the moment, laughed too. She made a few more comments like that. Dark humor, he thought. Maybe a quirky personality, but something inside him, a small, quiet instinct, felt uneasy. Still, the date ended perfectly. She gifted him an expensive chocolate, kissed his cheek softly, and walked into her apartment building with a shy smile. Luciano walked home floating. For the first time in a long time, the world felt lighter. The next date happened fast. Camila invited him to her place, an elegant old building in the heart of Buenos Aires. Her apartment was gorgeous. High ceilings, warm lights, vintage furniture. The kind of place where creativity feels natural. But the moment Luciano stepped inside, he smelled it. A heavy, metallic odor, not strong enough to panic him, but strong enough to notice. She apologized immediately. "It's the plumbing. Old building. They're fixing it." He nodded, wanting to believe her. She gave him a tour. A living room full of plants and books, a hallway lit by tiny lamps, and finally, her studio. A large room filled with cameras, tripods, drawers of props, and a mannequin wearing a white balaclava. Luciano's curiosity grew. On her computer, countless folders were neatly labeled. Landscapes, portraits, nature, urban photography. She stepped away to answer her phone, and that's when he saw it. At the bottom of the screen, a hidden folder, buried under layers of irrelevant titles. A folder labeled simply, ZZZZ. Curiosity won. He opened it and instantly felt his stomach twist. These weren't photos from a studio. They weren't artistic experiments. They were scenes. Disturbing scenes. Plush toys arranged in ritualistic poses. Dolls covered in dark red paint. Or something that just looked like paint. More folders. Photos of dead animals on the street. Cats, dogs, birds. Some freshly taken. Some visibly older. Some taken days apart as if she returned to capture the stages of decay. He felt cold. This wasn't humor. This wasn't art. This was something else. Something darker. And then, Camilla walked back into the room. She didn't scream. She didn't ask why he was looking. She simply said, "Let's go to the living room." Her tone had changed. Her posture had changed. The warm, sweet woman from the plaza was gone. In her place stood someone calm. Too calm. Someone whose silence felt heavier than anger. She poured drinks. Luciano tried to talk, but the conversation didn't flow anymore. Her eyes seemed empty, like she was watching him, not listening to him. And then exhaustion hit him. Fast. Too fast. His eyelids felt like lead. His body felt distant. She suggested they lie down. Sensation of falling. Deeper and deeper into nothingness. At around 5 a.m., he woke up to nausea and dizziness. The metallic smell was overwhelming. He forced himself upright and froze. The bed was covered in strange stains. Brownish, reddish, impossible to identify. Glitter was scattered across the sheets. Bits of something textured were stuck to his arms, his chest. He didn't recognize any of it. 2 cameras on tripods were positioned directly at the bed, both with their lights off, but clearly set up earlier. And then he saw her, standing in the doorway, wearing the same white balaclava from her studio, barefoot, completely still, as if she had been watching him sleep. Luciano whispered her name. She didn't respond. She just tilted her head, slowly, like a curious animal analyzing its prey. Something inside him snapped. He jumped out of bed, pushing past her. She didn't fight back. She didn't speak. She simply turned her head to follow him as he ran. He fled the apartment, half-dressed, sprinting down the hallway, down the stairs, out into the cold air. He didn't stop until he reached his house. In the shower, he scrubbed his skin until it hurt. But no matter how hard he tried, the smell wouldn't leave him. Neither would the image of her, standing in that doorway, wearing that mask. According to the therapist who told me this, Luciano struggled for months after that night. She blocked him everywhere. He never found out what she had planned, or why she needed those cameras, or what the photos truly meant. He developed aversions to certain smells, fear of intimacy, and a constant paranoia that beauty can hide danger, because the truth is chilling. A beautiful face doesn't guarantee a beautiful soul. And sometimes, the person who seems perfect in your darkest moment is the one most capable of hurting you. This was Luciano's anonymous story, shared by a therapist who couldn't keep the secret inside him. A reminder that monsters don't always look like monsters. Sometimes they look like your perfect match. Stay safe, stay alert, and stay curious.